All right, YouTube, welcome to part one of the HU162T 9-cut Lishi video. Part one here, we're going to pick and decode the lock, and then in part two, which is the following video, will be 573, and I'll link it in the top corner and at the end, will be how to actually convert the data you get from the Lishi and actually cutting the key. So this Lishi, as you notice here, has your normal picking arms, and then it also has these little small ones here for the side pins. Now, it may look intimidating, but it's actually very easy to use. First thing you want to do is just make sure you get the tool all the way in the lock. Like so. And then you're going to want to just identify where your wafers are. Now, I believe these are all the same as far as orientation, but I could be wrong here, so it might be good to check here. But basically, on the normal lifters here, we got 4 going down, 5 and 6 will go up, 7 and 8 down, and then 9 will go up. And then we have 3 side pins. And the first one here on top is number 1, and then 2 and 3 are on the bottom. Now, the first thing that we need to do if you plan on making a key is you need to actually take a reading off of these side pins before we actually pick it, and then we'll take another reading after we pick it. So to do that, you have 30, 60, and 90 degrees, and you'll actually never get a reading of 30 degrees with the lock in an unpicked state. So hopefully everybody can see here. I'm doing this as best I can by myself here. And when you take the reading, here before you pick it, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put pressure on it. And the first line is 30, the second line is 60, and the last line is 90. And like I said, you're never going to get a 30, so you go past 30. And when you get to 60, you want to kind of go slow here till you get resistance. And you want to just go until that thing stays on its own. Okay, so that's actually going to be a 60. Now I can push it all the way to 90, but it's not a 90. It's going to be a 60. It basically just will go until it stops. That's your reading. And now we need to do the 2 on the bottom. So we'll go to position number 2. With our bottom one. And we're going to just do the same thing here. We're just going to slowly go past 30 here. And we see we get to 60. And again, it's stopped here. So that's going to be 60 and 60. Now we have one more read. All right, and that's stopping right there, like kind of between 60 and 90 here, but I can't even push it all the way to 90, so that's going to be a 60 as well. So we have 60, 60, 60. So now we have to actually pick the lock, and then we'll take a reading again. And picking this, pretty straightforward. We're going to just apply tension like normal, and we're just going to look for binders. So I'm just going to start with number 4. We'll go to 7. And 8, so nothing as a binding, so check 5 and 6 going up. And number 9. All right, so none of those are bindings. So now we'll check our side pins. So we got number 1 here on the side pins, and that is binding. Got a little click on 1. I think it's actually still binding, so I may have overset it here. Let me release tension here, start over. So I'm just going to start here this time because nothing was binding before. Tiny click on that, so we'll leave it alone. We go ahead and check 2 and 3. Click on 2. I'm going to check 3 here. So 3 is springy. All right, so 2 is now set. We got 2 clicks out of 2. And go and check. So now we got number 4 binding. Click on 4. Check number 7 still springy. Okay, 8's actually binding. Nice click on 8. Now 7's binding, I click on 7. So 4 feels set, 7 feels set, and 8 feels set. So I'm going to go check 5, 6, and 9 here. So 5 and 6 are both springy. Okay, 9's binding, got a nice click on 9. 9 actually now feels set. Go ahead and check 5 and 6 again. All right, 6 may be binding here, but let me just leave it for right now. I can always come back to it. And now 1 is actually binding again on the side pins. So release tension a little bit. Nice click on 1. Got some rotation there. 2 still feels set. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave that alone here. Just come back to it. All right, I think 6 actually is binding here. So I've got to click on 6. Another click on 6. So now 6 is set. 5 binding. All right, and now the lock is actually picked. So I'm going to go ahead and now read the side pins first here. We have to read those in the picked position as well. Number 1 hung up there. Okay, so let me just move around the camera here. Go to camera 2 here. And try not to release the lock. All right, so we're going to read the first one. And you'll never get a 90 now that it's picked. You'll only get a 30 or a 60. And that is reading a 60. Let me go back to the other side here. And go ahead and read number 2. Number 2 is also reading a 60. And number 3 is reading a 30. So we had 60, 60, 30 on our side pins. Now we'll go ahead and read the rest of the lock here. And this reads just like any other Lishi here. Same direction that you picked it. So we got, so we can zoom in just a hair here. So we're going to have a 4, 1, 1, 3, 4, and 1. So 4, 1, 1, 3, 4, 1. So now that we've picked the lock and we've decoded it, and so this is the data that we have out of the lock right here. So before picking on our side pins, we had 60, 60, 60. After picking, 60, 60, 30. And then our reading of 4, 1, 1, 3, 4, 1. And I just kind of a long video already, so I'm going to cut this short right here. And so just click the link floating on the screen or the top right and check out part 2. And I'll show you how to actually take that information and actually turn it into the data that we need to actually make a working key. So I will see you guys in part 2.